The White House has been in continuous meltdown mode over the fact that John Ossoff dared to mention that the president travels with Natalie.
While he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings. He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
Who's Natalie, you may be wondering? She is a 32-year-old woman who is obsessed with the president and follows him around with a Wi-Fi printer and literally prints out all of the good things people say about him on the internet. She also transcribes all of his tweets, so that's who's posting some of those things. She once literally slept in the locker room at Mar-a-Lago for a month because she couldn't get a room and she wanted to be close to him. Similarly, one time there wasn't room for her in the car with the president, and so instead she jumped into the trunk of one of the SUVs in his motorcade so that she could go to a court appearance with him in New York City. She also happens to think that the president saved her life because she is a bone cancer survivor. And she has some dates mixed up about when Donald Trump passed a right to try law and when she actually began an experimental drug. But nevertheless, she thinks that he saved her life personally. Now she writes him letters saying things like, "No one will ever love you like I do." And "I just want to bring you joy." This is what her brother had to say last night on CNN.
If she was listening to you right now, is there anything you'd want to tell her?
Yeah, I love you. I hope that you change and that you wake up and you realize that everybody on this earth is part of a human family, and no country is better than any other country. And the history of the United States is unfortunately really sad, and it shouldn't be rewritten. We got to all come together and try to make it better.
Apparently, Donald isn't the only president who Natalie has written letters to expressing her love.
Gosh, how do I explain this? She's written letters to other presidents. Let me put it that way. And so, like, her dream came true finally.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying that she actually was very aware of politics, right? And that she had written other presidents' letters. Do you happen to know which ones or what they were about or anything, Preston, that you would be able to share here?
I didn't see the letter, but George Bush, obviously, during the Iraq War.
And did anything ever come of that? I mean, did the White House ever respond or anything, or she just sort of sent a letter?
No, they never responded.
This guy's a Bernie bro, isn't he? I have so much to tell you about today. We have the Trump family getting its own bank, Trump's FCC getting sued by Disney. There's also Meta on trial, Glass and the Popsicles, I'm sorry to report, a DOJ whistleblower, the president peacocking for Kim Jong Un, and some of yesterday's primary results. I'm Sammy Sage, and this is the Morning Announcements, your 10-minute rundown of current events and the best way to always know what the is going on. Subscribe and turn on notifications because checking the news more than once a day is bad for you. And with me, you only have to do it once. The Trump family is getting their own bank. Let me make that sentence worse. A crypto bank. Remember their crypto firm, World Liberty Financial, which is co-run by Eric Trump and Steve Witkoff's son? World Liberty Financial has now received a conditional bank charter from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which is the entity that makes banks and not just a guy taking and giving money. And this bank charter is important because it'll let the Trump family sell their own stablecoins instead of having to rely on a third party. The result will be more money for them, more risk in the financial system. But I can't predict who will end up screwed here. Donald Trump is getting a little taste of his own medicine. ABC News and its parent company Disney are suing the FCC for retaliating against them politically when they decided to review ABC's broadcast television licenses 2 years early because they're mad about Jimmy Kimmel and the hosts of The View and DEI, of course. In the lawsuit, they cite posts from Donald's own little social media app, like the ones where he complained about late night hosts who don't like him and asked if their broadcast licenses should be terminated. Question mark? Meta's jury trial started yesterday, and this is what lawyers would call a big deal, with 4 states trying to get billions of dollars in damages and to force Meta to change its platforms to be less addictive and harmful to children. There are actually 29 states that have sued Meta over child safety and privacy, but this trial only involves 4: California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey. And the other 25 will go to trial later. But all those trials are trying to prove the same thing: that Meta is guilty of knowingly contributing to the youth mental health crisis by deliberately designing features to addict children, that they actively studied how to do so and regularly collect data on children under 13 without parents' consent, while hiding all of this from the public. I will be keeping my eyes on this one, and Meta will be keeping their eyes on me. Another day, another food recall, this time because there's glass in the popsicles. The manufacturer of Outshine fruit bars recalled 5 flavors nationwide out of concern that some of them may be contaminated with glass. They didn't specify anything beyond the contaminated flavors, though they say that no illnesses or injuries have been reported to date. Can't even have a goddamn fruit bar. Surprise! The Trump administration was using antisemitism as a tool. A former career DOJ attorney filed a whistleblower complaint saying that the Trump administration's Ivy League anti-Semitism task force pressured the universities into settlements even though they had little to no evidence of systemic discrimination against Jews at their schools. The complaint came from an attorney with the DOJ's Civil Rights Division who said that she was involuntarily assigned to investigations into Harvard, Brown, and Columbia, and that those investigations were, quote, predetermined without regard to evidence in a politically mandated effort because they wanted to suspend those schools' government funding and create a PR stunt. It half worked. Donald Trump is thirsting for a meeting with Kim Jong Un, and the Wall Street Journal is reporting that he's been pushing his aides to schedule a meeting ASAP. Call Kim's mom and ask for a play date. He ideally wants that to happen this fall when he goes to Asia in November for an economic summit. Right now, there are no official plans in the works yet, unless you count Trump throwing our ally South Korea under the bus out of nowhere the other day, as an overture, I guess. Apparently, Donald wants to convince North Korea to give up their nuclear program or something, which there is literally no way they're going to do. They've been trying to get nukes since I was in middle school, and Donald Trump thinks he's going to change that. Also, this is not even the first time Donald has publicly begged Kim for a meeting. During last year's tour of Asia, he asked reporters on Air Force One to, quote, put out the word that he wanted to meet with Kim. He really was going to try the old, I just happened to be in the neighborhood. Of course, the president hasn't even finished his last war. And though he says we control the Strait of Hormuz, 2 ships have been attacked as they passed through the strait in the past few days. And at least 1 sailor was killed while on a ship that was sailing close to Oman. And yet, the guy who's supposed to be in charge of this war, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, was in Iowa the other day of all places, because he is apparently considering running for president in 2028. I'm sure you'll be thrilled to know that he traveled on a taxpayer-funded military aircraft, even though the Pentagon said his travel was in a, quote, personal capacity. He should have to travel on the USS Abraham Lincoln, if you ask me. We have some results from Florida's primaries yesterday. In the governor's race, Trump's preferred candidate, Republican Byron will run in the general election against Democrat David Jolly, who actually used to be a Republican congressman before the party became what it is now. In November's Senate race, Democrat Angie Nixon, a progressive, will run against incumbent Republican Senator Ashley Moody, who got Marco Rubio's seat. In the House races, Democratic Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz won her primary in a race that was closely watched because her district was recently redrawn by the Republicans. The abusive Republican Congressman Corey Mills lost his seat, and his challenger, Republican Ryan Elijah, will run against Democrat Bale Dalton in November. And tomorrow we'll have results from Alaska, Wyoming, and California. Goodbye.